Finally, the M3 from FX has finally landed here in the Rat Cave, courtesy of Livens Gun Shop. Hi guys, this is Racknload, and this is the new Mark III Impact from FX. And I'm going to tell you straight off the bat, this thing is an absolute laser beam. And I've got the proof. You know I have, guys. You know I have. Right, let me throw out some specs first of all. Get all the techie bits out of the way, and then we'll get stuck into this full Racknload review. So, first of all, this is a UK sub 12 foot-pound version. Don't worry, I am going to do the FAC version, or the firearm certificate version, the high power version. That will be coming, but I just wanted to do the sub 12 first, you know, just get a bit of a baseline there, and then we'll do some serious long range stuff with the high power as and when I get it. So spec wise then, so reading off FX's website. Now, available calibers are available are 177, 22, 25, 30 and 35. Magazine capacity in the 177 is 38 pellets. In the 22 it's 28 shot, 25 is 28 shot, 30 cal is 23 shot, and 35 cal is 18 shot. Available calibers, like I just said, is 177, 22, 25, 30 and 35. 35, just in case you were wondering, is basically 9mm. Barrel on this one is the Smooth Twist X Superior. Okay, my God, this thing is accurate. It's down to the barrel. Well, and my shooting, of course. But yeah, this thing is so accurate. It's that barrel. I mean, this isn't even the sniper version. The sniper version with a longer barrel is going to be even more accurate. I'm sure it is. I can't wait to get my hands on one of them. Right, fill pressure, 250 bar, switch style safety or AR style safety. I'll talk more about that in a minute. It's got triple pressure gauges, got air tube pressure gauge is the new wicker one. The first regulator pressure gauge is like your standard FX one. I'll show you that shortly. And your second regulator pressure gauge is the new wicker one, which is slightly more accurate, apparently. Adjustable match trigger. I'm just reading. I'm not going to go. Well, okay then. So the available, these are the max powers that you can get with the Mark III Impact. Okay. So these are obviously not sub 12 foot-pound energy rated stats that I'm reading off here. Okay, so these are the most powerful foot-pounders you'll get in these calibers. Shooting slug ammunition with the slug power kit that you can get for these rifles. So 177, you can crank it up to 35 foot-pounds. 22 will go up to 79 foot-pounds. 25 will go up to 89 foot-pounds, 30 cal will go up to 124 foot-pounds, and the .35 cal will go up to a whopping 156 foot-pounds. Oh yeah, that's going some. That is seriously going some. Air capacity in the compact version, you get a 300cc bottle, standard 480, which is this, sniper 580. And the 35 or 9mm is 580 again. Carbon fiber wrapped air tank. A lot of people say, oh, they're solid 100% carbon fiber. No, they're not. They're aluminium bottles wrapped in carbon fiber. Carbon fiber's porous. You wouldn't have a 100% carbon fiber bottle because the air would just leak out. Just saying, just saying. Foster quick disconnect charging thingy, you know what I'm on about. That's pretty much it. On the high power versions, you get the 720 or 720 power plenum which is basically the 72 cubic centimetre volume plenum. On this sub 12 foot-pound version, you don't get it, because obviously it's sub 12 foot-pound. You don't need that mass of air capacity in the plenum. You don't need it because it's sub 12 foot-pound. You only need that when you're pushing out some serious power. Okay, so that's pretty much it for your specs. Now, by the way, just in case you're wondering, it is wearing a Hawk Frontier first focal plane scope. That is a, what is it? It's a 5 to 24, sorry, 5 to 25 times 50 scope. And that is a real nice scope. Sports match mounts, bolting it all together. Really, really nice. And do you know what? That'll lead us straight into accuracy. Of course it will. Let's just jump straight into accuracy before I go through all the bits and bobs on the rifle, because this thing has seriously impressed me. Now, I've got quite a few targets to show you guys, and I used a good selection of pellets. So first of all, JSB Exact Jumbo Diablos. These, just show them, yeah, just in case you're wondering. So I ran them first of all for my testing, and these are the results I got. These are 5-shot groups, okay, at 30 yards, 5-shot groups, because I'm getting moaned at on YouTube for saying, well, for doing just 3-shot groups. I've been told to do 5-shot groups. I'm doing 5-shot groups, guys. Look, times 5. So that is accurate. 30 yards, and it was raining and it was windy. That is impressive. It gets better, guys. It gets better. So that was the JSB Exact Jumbo Diablos. Okay, let's move them out of the way, because I'm just gonna get buried in targets. Next was the H&N Field Target Trophy. These here, let me show them you in the flesh. So I ran them on a target. Let's get that lid back on, because you know what will happen, I'll just tip them everywhere. So I ran them. By the way, they are 14.66 grains. What were the exacts are 15. So the exacts, I forgot to tell you that, the exacts are 15.89 grains, okay? So then these ones are slightly lighter. I didn't adjust my zero or anything. These are 14.66 grains. H&M Field Target Trophy. Check out that group. 5-shot group, 30 yards, in the rain, in the wind, on a sub 12 foot-pound. Oh my God. That is accurate. And by the way, for me to zero this, it took me about 4 shots. And I was zeroed. I was dialed in, and that was it. That was it. The only thing I had to do was re-zero for slugs, which I will show you in a minute. So that was H&N Field Target Trophy. Wow. Wow, that's all I'm going to say there. Okay, that is accurate. Then we went on to the Barracuda Hunter, which are hollow points. Let me just show them you. There you go. So we use those, and those are 18.21 grain pellets. Those are, okay. Here is your target with the Barracuda Hunter from H&N. Okay, nice. Didn't cut the paper as well with them being hollow points, but still pretty good grouping. You know, can't complain. 18.21 grain pellets, so slightly heavier than all the rest. Pretty damn good, if you ask me. Then, sorry guys, I'm just chewing through all these targets. Then it was a Barracuda Extreme. These are funky pellets. They've got like a Phillips head on the end of them. Look at those things. Awesome pellets. And those were 18.52 grains. I've not wrote the weight on these. And here is the results for those. Oh yeah, I was re-zeroing on here because I used some slugs before this. I've kind of got this the wrong way around, so I was going a little bit high because I had to adjust for slugs. And then I found these Barracuda Hunter Extremes, and then I was like, oh, I need to push some of those through. Pretty damn accurate. Just excuse the middle. 5 shot groups again. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then we went on to the real interesting stuff. Well, this is the last lot. Don't worry, guys. This is the last lot. The Slug HP or hollow point from H&N. These things are weighing in at 30 grains. Look at those monsters. Hollow points again. And the results I got with these, once I'd zeroed, because obviously they were dropping quite a bit. This is only a sub 12 foot-pound. You know, people are like, oh, well, you should really use slugs in FAC versions. But no, once I dialed in, decent accuracy with the slugs. So that is pretty good accuracy, if you ask me, for a pretty good selection of different pellets, from domed to slug, hollow point, crosshead. That's pretty good accuracy, don't you think? I think so. I've impressed myself, especially that one. I think I'm gonna actually frame that. That is a proper one hole group. 5 shots from the FX Impact Mark III, sub 12 foot-pound. Are you impressed? I am. Boy, I cannot wait to get the high power version and really test that thing out with slug. Right then, let's jump in, and so we'll just take it from the top. I know you guys have probably seen my Mark II review a number of years back, but we're just going to take it from the top in a full rack and load review. So, taking it from the top, from the butt pad, recoil pad, whatever you want to call it. I love the recoil pads or butt pads on the FXs. I love the adjustability, really nice. But it is begging for a bit of Sabre Tactical goodness on there, isn't it? So you can get the real fancy butt pads from Sabre Tactical. Yeah, I think that's the way I'd go. I think I would. Now, I have got a little gripe, and it's only a tiny, tiny little gripe. But we're getting there. We're getting there with FX. Now, you guys all know that I'm a lefty. And on the Mark III, you can actually switch the cocking lever round to the left-hand side. So you can switch all that round. That's cool, but I'm like probably a lot of left-handed shooters that used to using right-handed guns that I'm not even bothered now. I'm that used to just using a right-handed bolt or cocking lever. It's just second nature. That is cool. I love the way you can do that though. I didn't do it. I just left it as it was. Like I say, I'm that used to it. But what I will say is, and to be fair, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It is fairly comfortable, okay? You haven't got the magazine, although the magazine is here. I'll put the magazine in actually. Although the magazine is here, and we'll talk about the magazine in a minute as well. I will, he says, if you can get it in. Why does everything go wrong when I sort of press play, record on the camera? So there is the magazine, okay? Was it in my face with my face being on this side? No, not really. I barely noticed it. And that is pretty comfortable. But I think FX should see there's more sort of meat this side for you righties, you lucky righties. I think it would have been nice, or it would be nice if we could just have a little bit more on this side for us lefties, you know, just to make it just a tiny little bit more comfortable. Don't get me wrong, it was comfortable. It felt all right. It felt all right. I had no problems at all. But it'd just be a little bit more comfortable. You know, if there was a bit more of that cheek piece, just stretch it around another, say, 5 to 10 mil. You know, there's room there. It could go over the magazine. It wouldn't get in the way. So, don't know, that's just my take on it. But apart from that, wow. Accuracy wise, I mean, you know, the accuracy I got with this thing, and I'm a lefty, you know, there's enough said, isn't there? Enough said about that. Really, really good, really good. So, I'll talk about the magazine in a minute. So let's just close this up. We'll put it on safe. So yeah, that's your cheek piece. It's polymer anyway, so it's nice and warm on the cheek. You know, it's not like putting your cheek on sort of cold steel. Although me being a lefty, I didn't really have that much to put my cheek on, but I'm sure FX will rectify that in future models. And then moving on to here, you've got the regulator of the plenum. Like I said, you don't get this 720 plenum on the sub 12 foot-pound. You just get this little one here. I'm not sure what the CC of it is, but it is a lot smaller. But it's sub 12, so there you go. There is your regulator for the plenum, okay? The magazine area is slightly different on the Mark III. And you've even got this little lever here to assist locking and taking the magazine out, which I really like. You've seen me do that. Let's just open it up. The magazines, let's just talk about the magazine before we sort of put it in. So cassette style magazines. Now you guys will know if you've watched my videos from years back. At first, I didn't like the cassette style magazines. But they have come on. They have come on. I was a big fan of the, you know, the normal, like I think the old Verminator had the same sort of style as like a Virac HW100, where it was just a metal magazine where you just push the pellets in and that was it. There was no clockworkness to it or anything. And then there was the new cassette style magazine. It was all right. It was all right. They took some, you know, getting used to, but once you'd figured them out, they were all right. These ones, loads better, loads better. And I mean, look at the capacity in that. What is it? 28 shot in the 22. This is 22, by the way. So you move that around like I've just demonstrated. Take your cover off, and then you've got these. They're sort of what would you call them? Half yin yang thingy shapes, so you can just spin it round like that and then hold it and drop your first pellet in, which locks it, and then just fill it all up. And then once you've done that, pop your cover back on and then spin that round to lock it in place. Excellent magazines, they really are good. And then basically you just push it in like that and it clicks in. Nice positive click. Nothing rattles apart from the pellets inside, but to be fair, they don't really rattle that much. And everything's just locked in nice. Your last shot, and that magazine is obviously empty, so your last shot, you won't be able to cock it, so you won't waste any air on a dry fire or anything. So that is really, really cool. So yeah, magazines, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Then moving along, like I said, you don't get a 720 plenum, not in the sub 12 foot-pound version. Here is your barrel, obviously, because it is a semi-bullpup. It's not a bullpup because the cocking lever is still forward. If the cocking lever was back here, then it would be a bullpup, okay? Even though the action and everything is. But The barrel is all this here, okay? And then you've got a shrouded barrel here, and you've got a moderator or silencer or can, whatever you want to call it, on the end. The barrel, oh my God, the barrel is so nice. I mean, that accuracy, just amazing, just amazing. Then moving on to the actual cocking lever itself. Check out the handle on that thing. That is a serious chunk of metal. And it is so comfortable to use. Effortless effortless to use. And it's rock solid. There's no horrible wobbles on it. You know, the machining in this rifle is just amazing. Everything is just tighter and just absolutely rock solid. Look at this for attention to detail then. So look on the cocking block there. If you notice that, there's like a spring-loaded buffer. On the Mark II, I think there was like a rubber thing there. But this is like a spring-loaded buffer. So as you close it up, I'll show you up close. It's just beautiful. It's like silk. It's like silk. Really nice. Like I said, you can swap that round to the cocking block on the other side if you are a lefty. But I mean, like I said, I didn't bother. But if you wanted to, you can swap it round. And then you've got Picatinny rail here for your scope, raised one. It's got 20 MOA built in, so you can reach out, you know, it'll give your scope more capability to sort of reach out. Free floating barrel from here. Everything's tighter. The barrel is more, what's the word? It's just tighter in the action. Everything seems really tight. On the 12 foot-pound version, this adjustment here, like on the FAC versions, it's non-adjustable on here. So basically, in a nutshell, on the sub 12 foot-pound versions, there are a few adjustments on here that you can't do, like what you can do on the FAC version or high power version. So you can't adjust that, and you can't adjust although you have got power levels here. So there's your power wheel. So you've got 1 to 16. That's set at 16. So I just had that, you know, set up like that. The quick tune adjustment here is non-existent on the sub 12 foot-pound version because obviously you wouldn't want people to take their M3s over the legal limit here in the UK. So they just do away with a lot of these adjustments. So you basically cannot take your M3 impact over the legal limit here in the UK unless you basically just buy an FAC version. Simple as that, because there are a lot of anti-tamper features on here as well, which will basically kill your guarantee, I guess, or your warranty. So you don't really need to fiddle with this rifle. Like I said, this is straight out of the box, my testing. No, I didn't chrono it. I didn't really have time to chrono it, to be fair. I will chronograph when I get the high power version, I'll do some proper chrono work on that. But my chrono's bad at it anyway, and I do need a new one. I think, to be fair, I will go for the FX chronograph. And that's interesting that I mentioned that, because future models of the M3 are going to have the built-in chronograph that will basically sit back here and it will give you a digital readout. And also, I believe you will get digital gauges as well, which I think, to be fair, is it the way forward? Yeah and no. Yeah, they're easier to read, but no, because you've then got batteries to rely on, haven't you? But then again, if you're having an electronic chronograph, then yeah, I don't know. I suppose you've got to, but it would be good if they could It's something where if they do start throwing electronic bits on, it'll be good if we can just like have a USB connectivity to just plug it in and it'll charge everything up that you need, rather than saying, oh, I need a battery for my chrono, oh, I need a battery for my gauges and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It'd just make life easier, wouldn't it? So yeah, the rest of the action, all aluminium. Give it the magnet test. Yeah, the magnet don't stick. Oh, it does to that bit. Oh, that's the top rail, isn't it? Oh, no, it's that bit. Oh, there's something in there, steel anyway, that that's sticking to. So yeah, all aluminium. The receiver is. And then moving along to, here is your gauge for your bottle. And then there is actually a regulator built in here, okay? So that's like your first regulator, which is built inside. I believe there is, I don't get too techie, guys. You know what I'm like with my videos. There is another regulator built in here, and then you've got your plenum regulator there, okay? I explained that in a little bit more detail when I did the review of the FX Maverick. I sort of explained that a lot better. Oh, have I got to go over it again? No, refer to the Maverick video, because it's a bit long-winded, but it's really clever how they do these multi. All right, I'll explain it in real layman's terms and real quick terms. So these different regulators, basically, if you had just like one regulator, it's a lot of pressure from that bottle, putting a lot of force on that regulator just to get the tiny bit of air out that you need to fire the shot. With multi-regulators, imagine a dam full of water. Basically, that trickles down into another dam and then into another dam. So it just makes everything a little bit less strenuous on the regulators. Does that make sense? I said I'd put it in real quick terms. And that's pretty much what the plenum does. Rather than having all that force go through one regulator to push, to fire the shot, to push the pellet out, it goes through one or two regulators and puts just the amount of air that you need, okay, to fire the shot. And then it just makes the whole gun way more efficient. You're not wasting air. Everything's less strenuous on the regs. It just makes it more, the whole gun smoother. Now, I do believe with the FAC versions, the high power versions, and I will explain this when I do get one in for review, which won't be too long away, I'm pretty sure. When you fired the shot, you do actually hear the gun breathe. So it won't hiss, but you'll hear it sort of, well, I don't know whether it's a hiss. I don't know, I've not heard it myself, but this is what I've learned. They basically say it's the gun breathing. Once you fired the shot, everything sort of resets itself. The gun breathes and you do hear it, but no, clever stuff. Seriously clever stuff. Another change on the Mark III, apart from the ambidextrousness of the cocking lever and the bigger plenum and the slightly different magazine loading, would you say? It's slightly different angle, and you've got this release mechanism here. Is the safety catch, and basically it's been switched around. So before, fire was up, safe was across. They've switched that around the other way. I believe that was from HFT shooters, which were basically accidentally moving their gun onto safe, when they were cocking it or when they were when they were shooting. So interesting. I found as well, it's quite interesting because, as you know, you look at the channel, I review quite a lot of different firearms. That reminds me, there's not ambidextrous, by the way, so it's not on the other side, but it makes me think of the Typhoon Defence Industries F12 shotgun, where the AR-15 style, which this is basically, the AR-15 style safety catch, when it's on fire, is pointing down like that. And what you'd get is basically you get what was called typhoon finger. So you imagine this is a 12 gauge magazine fed shotgun, and you're like boom, 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 all that recoil. And after a bit, that lever there would be like digging a hole through your finger. So yeah, if it was a shotgun, I'd be like, you know, that is the right way round, basically. So when it's in fire position, it's out the way. So they got that wrong on the Typhoon Defence Industries F12 shotgun, and a lot of people, after doing competitions, you know, practical shotgun competitions, you know, once they dug a hole out in their finger from, you know, from the safety catch, they'd be like, oh, damn, I've got to get that moved. I think on later models they did. But no, they've moved it into the right position. I mean, it didn't really bother me on the previous Mark II Impact. But I believe that's why they've done it, because HFT shooters were moaning about it, from what I've learned. Then moving on to the pistol grip. Now, the pistol grip is AR-15 in styles. You can swap it out if you want, because there's basically just a bolt that holds it on. So if, you know, if that don't float your boat, the one that comes with it, by the way, it is perfect if you ask me. Some people like, you know, to put their own bits on there, then crack on. Dead easy to do, dead easy to do. The trigger is lovely, and it is totally adjustable, and you can even move it along the rail. Okay, so you can adjust the length of it. If you've got long, you know, long fingers or whatever, you can adjust all that. You can adjust the blade on it. Really, really nice. While we talk about the trigger, you know what's coming, guys. We've got to give it a pull, haven't we? I think that thing is cocked. I've cocked it about 3 times, actually. Straight out of the box. This is brand new, untampered with Mark III Impact. Let's give the trigger a pull and see what she's doing. It felt really, really nice. 2-stage. There you go. What? 2.5 pounds. Yeah, baby. That is what I'm talking about. I've got to remind myself of this trigger. Oh, yeah, that's nice. That is nice. Picatinny rail on the sides, so you can add bits on underneath as well. Throw on a bipod, or get an Arca Swiss rail, you know, to go under that bottle, which I think looks really, really nice. I think that's what I'd do. I'd fit one of those on. Have your bipod further along here. It's only going to be better, innit? The further towards the muzzle that your bipod is going to be better. I know a lot of guys have them back, but they haven't tilted sort of that way on. I'd sooner just have it up front myself. You know, my personal preference. Carbon fibre wrapped aluminium bottle. You can just take these off. You know, you won't lose air or anything. You can take them off. These are slightly different fittings to the previous Mark II, so you can't, if you've got old bottles from your Mark II, you won't be able to put them on. Okay, you need like a special adapter. I believe you can get that. Look into that. You'll have to Google it, find out yourself. But you know, you can swap out your bottles on this if you obviously you've got the appropriate one for the rifle, for the Mark III rifle. Shrouded barrel, as you can see. So there is your barrel all along there. You can see it underneath. And then we get this shrouded bit here. And then we've got a bit of a can going on here as well. Shall I take it off? Okay, I'll take it off. And you've got a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch UNF thread on the end there. So you can sort of throw on your own little can. But the one that comes with it is really nice. What is interesting, and what I am looking forward to really testing out. Let me just screw this back on. On the high power versions, you basically get, now these rifles are totally adjustable, you know, not so much the sub 12 foot-pound version, but on the higher power versions. And basically you have a barrel harmonics adjustment about here. So you can adjust it by, you know, turning it, cranking it to basically adjust the harmonics of the barrel. That is some serious attention to detail. So that is for when you are really tinkering with your rifle to sort of really fine tune it. Just taking a look at the other side of the Mark III there. What a nice looking rifle. Really cool. There is your filler area, by the way. A dust cover on there. And it's a quick fill Foster connection that goes on there. Bit of Picatinny rail there, as I mentioned, for a bipod, or fit an extra bit of rail on there just to enhance the rifle and just, you know, bring your bipod forward, which I'd recommend myself. So let's have a look at the box, and you get a real decent box with the FX Impact Mark III, and it's all sort of cut out, ready to go. Oh, there's the manual. We'll have a look at that in a minute. So really nice. What do you get in the box? You get the manual, like that. You get the gun. You get your Foster connector there. Okay. And the box is cut out as well for extra magazines, other bits and pieces. It allows for the scope as well, so the rifle just fits in really nice. So nice, decent box, not the sort of box that you'd basically just chuck in your attic, never to be seen again. It's a box that you'd basically, or a case that you'd use, you know, you'd take to the range, or you'd take on hunting trips or whatnot. The manual, FX's manuals are excellent. The only thing I'd say is we need some exploded diagrams, don't we? That's what we need. Maybe FX don't want people to know all their secrets with an exploded diagram. But no, nice coloured photographs. Real easy to read manual. Tells you everything you need to know. It's got all your usual do's and don'ts, how to load the magazines. You can, by the way, fit smaller magazines in. I forgot to mention that. So if you're a lefty like me, and that is being a bit obtrusive in your face, I found it wasn't. But if you know, if it was for you, you can get a smaller magazine, which will be a little bit more, what's the word? Discreet. You know, it will be a little bit less in your face. Okay. That was the valve adjuster that I mentioned. You don't get it on the sub 12 foot-pound version. It is just blanked off, but on FAC versions, there is an adjustment there to adjust your valve to give the gun more power. But like I said, 12 foot-pound version, it ain't going to happen. Okay, here in the UK. And that is the quick tune system. Again, you don't get it on the sub 12 foot-pound version. Okay. Also worth noting that any adjustment on your rifle, be it 12 foot-pound or high power, never ever do any adjustments when the rifle is cocked. Okay, so just never ever do that, because you can damage the rifle. And let's just going through the manual. Really good manual, to be fair. And the great thing about this rifle is, because it's highly tunable, it is highly tunable and it's highly customizable. But the beauty of it is, because it's got all these fine adjustments in. By the way, the manual is brilliant. The manual is brilliant. Because it's got all these fine adjustments in, and like I said, not so much with the 12 foot-pound version, But with the high power versions especially, you can make a note of all these numbers. Well, I guess you can. Or, well, no, not so much on the sub 12 foot-pound. But on the high power versions, you can do all your settings, you know, and you can write basically all your settings down for different ammo, different power levels, and you could share those settings or those tune-ups. So you could basically say to your friend who's got one of these, oh, if you use, I don't know, these H&N slugs, set your gun up to this and it'll work absolutely amazingly. It'll be dead accurate, maximum power, real good ballistic coefficiency, you know, and you can basically just share the numbers. So that is a real cool thing with this new M3, is the fact that you can do that. Not so much with the 12 foot-pound, but like I said, with the high power version, definitely. I just think that's really cool for you guys that are tinkering, like you know, experimenting with different ammo, and getting the absolute extreme BC out of your rifle, the extreme accuracy, extreme distance. You know, you can tinker with it, you can write everything down, you can record it. You know, it's really cool. And like I say, you can just share that information then. That's if you wanted to share that information. You know, you might want to keep it top secret, but you could sort of share that information, your settings, you know, with your other shooting buddies, which I think is really cool, really cool. And not only that, you can record it for yourself. So you can basically, the different pellets that you use, be it for target shooting, be it for hunting, you know, hunting small game or slightly bigger game, you know, pest control, whatever it is you're shooting, whatever country you're in, whatever power gun you've got. And then all you've got to do is just keep a note of it, you know, on your ammo, basically. Just get a little sticker on your ammo tin saying, oh, best setting for these is da 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 da, and just dial it in. So that's a real cool option, real cool option. Will it go all electronic? I think it will. I think it will eventually. It will go all electronic, so you know, you'll be able to just dial it in, I'm sure. That's the way everything's going. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much my review of the FX Impact Mark III. I think I've just about covered everything. Like I said, I am going to get the high power version, okay? So I will get the high power version, not sure what caliber, and I will run that at some serious distance, and we'll have some serious fun with that, and we'll give it a rundown, full rack and load review as ever, tell you how it is and what I think of it. But yeah, with that accuracy that I've showed you guys on a sub 12 foot-pound, using what, 5 different flavors of ammo, you know, I could have put more through it, but I just thought, well, what's the point? This thing would fire a blooming McDonald's fry through it and hit the spot. It seriously would. You know, dead impressed. You know, I've got to admit, in the past, going back some years, I was a little bit skeptical at first with some of the FXs that I had, you know, where people were like, you know, where I wasn't getting amazing accuracy out of it, and people are like, oh, you got to tune it, you got to do this, that, and blah, 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 blah. But no, I've seriously fell in love with the FXs now. I mean, the Maverick was excellent. The Sabre Tactical, was it the Crown that I had? I can't remember now. That was excellent. Just on the GRS stocked, I think that was the Crown actually, the GRS Crown. That thing was just beautiful. It really was beautiful. But no, really impressed with the FX Impact Mark III. Like I said, this is sub 12 foot-pound version. The high power version will be on this table soon. Stay tuned. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. That is Rack and Load. See ya.